All right, we are about to explode the code. FDA.gov. In this section, Food Chemical Safety. List of select chemicals in the food supply under FDA review. Food Chemical Safety, if you want to go there, you're going to come to this website and you're going to go to the Food Chemical Safety section. List of select chemicals in the food supply under FDA review. The FDA assesses the safety of exposure to chemicals in the food supply. This includes ingredients considered generally recognized as safe, or GRAS, food additives, color additives, food contact substances, and you, an external stakeholder, you need to find out. And if you're not, who is? Contact them if you have a request or concern. All right, we may reassess the safety of food ingredients, food contact substances, and contaminants as new, relevant data become available. The FDA is committed to continuing its evaluation of all relevant scientific information and data when considering whether regulatory action is warranted to ensure the safety of the food supply. The table below includes select food ingredients, including food and color additives, food contact substances, and contaminants under FDA review as of March 4, 2024. While this table is not intended to give a comprehensive list, it includes some of the contaminants that we are focused on as part of our established programs, such as the Closer to Zero initiative. I will cover that in another video. It also includes some of the chemicals that are of interest among stakeholders who have asked the FDA to review their safety through petitions, including citizens petitions. So when you see the words stakeholders, especially external stakeholders, right? This is not an intergovernmental agency working group. That typically should include you. That's why I asked the question, is that you? You need to know these things, right? The FDA anticipates updating this table regularly to provide transparency on our reviews of chemicals in the food supply. Information about the ingredients and food contact substances listed in the table. The FDA has previously reviewed the food ingredients or food contact substances listed in the table. Our reassessments will help fill data gaps and follow up on information reported in the literature and other available information. Other available information is defined as. Figure it out, right? We have to know these things. Focusing on food ingredients and food contact substances that may present the most significant public health concerns. Our reassessments are also in response to petitions, which is a way for stakeholders to ask the FDA to establish or change a regulation or to take other administrative action. Do you know what the FDA's authority on other administrative action is? What is their enforcement capability? These are all things that you should be researching and inquiring about so that you can exercise your rights. Okay, and know what those look like. New information becomes available from our reassessments indicating that the intended use in food of a chemical is unsafe. The FDA would take further action as warranted. Depending on the results of our reassessments, some of these actions may include revoking authorizations or approvals for certain uses, working with industry on voluntary market phase-out agreements and recalls, and issuing alerts and informing consumers. Sign up for those daily recall alerts. I have them and I get those alerts every day telling me about products in foods that they're recalling. Information about the contaminants listed in the table. The table includes some environmental and process contaminants under FDA review. The FDA monitors the food supply for contaminants by testing both domestic and imported foods through several different programs. We are currently reviewing the items on the list below to inform our regulatory actions and help minimize the greatest extent possible consumers' exposure to unavoidable contaminants from foods. Action levels are one regulatory tool the FDA uses to help lower levels of chemical contaminants in foods when a certain level of a contaminant is unavoidable. While action levels do not establish a permissible level of contamination, so you need to also research what are permissible levels of contamination or contaminants, right? Which contaminants are unavoidable? How do they establish these parameters and these guidelines, right? So this is something that I'm just introducing to you, but I think your further research should be on all of the things that I stated before. The external stakeholders, who are they? How are they able to give information to the FDA? What are the permissible levels of contaminants? how do they measure that? And also making sure that you get on the list and check the other website out about food chemical safety. And also, I think it's important to know what further actions they would take based on their results of their reassessments, right? Beyond what they said, like one of their actions or their actions of revoking authorizations or approval. Find out what those are, right? So let's go ahead and talk about the table. Those action levels are: one, regulatory tool the FDA uses to help lower levels of chemical contaminants in foods when a certain level of contaminant is unavoidable. While action levels do not establish a permissible level of contamination, they indicate a level of contamination at which a food may be regarded as adulterated under the law. So you can search this table by name, type, or other details shown in the table to find more information about our reviews. All right, so as you can see on the left, the chemical names are there, and you can just scroll down and click on it so that you can know more information. But I'm just going to go ahead and scroll so that you can see the ones that are currently under review. All right, so you see 21 of 21 entries, right? And right here they have table definitions. Definitely want to read that. And even steps in our risk reviews, right? So for each chemical in the table, we are progressing through a series of steps to evaluate its potential risks. The process is a science-based, iterative approach to continually evaluate risks over time. Evaluating the risks of chemicals in the food supply is part of our commitment to food safety. So if you look over here, you will be able to print out this infographic, review of information. Here are the steps, right? Got to scroll all the way over unless you're looking at this from your computer desktop. So they have the risk of information, risk and safety assessment, risk management review, risk management action, and here is some related information. Definitely take your time, navigate this site, and check it out. See you next time.